Welcome back, guys. Today, we don't have Chris here, but it'll just be me and Sunny in a one-on-one. We're going to call these Double Trouble episodes.
Yeah.
So this will probably be a series that you'll get to hear more shared experiences between two people that may not be shared with like all three or four or more people. Mm-hmm. So today, between me and Sunny, there's a particular game or game franchise that has been kind of important to us and we have enjoyed, and it's the From Software, the Dark Souls, and the Sekiro games. And if you remember from our very first episode, Sunny, you said it was what on your list of your top 5? Was it number 5?
Yeah, it was number 5 or somewhere around there, but it's just like, it's definitely up there as my top series of games that I love to play. And right now, me and Ihraz, we're both playing through Dark Souls 2, Scholar of the First Sin. So we're just here to just talk about our experiences and why we love these games so much and why the fuck do we keep playing these games that are so hard.
Yeah, so just to get a little background, the Dark Souls games, before we get into Dark Souls 2. Sonny, you've played Dark Souls 3.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have not. I have it. I'm going to play it once I'm done with Dark Souls 2. And right now, you and Razmir are playing Dark Souls 1 Remastered.
Yeah.
You guys want to check that out? That's on their YouTube channel. They're doing a Let's Play through that.
Tables Have Table. Check us out.
Yeah, it's on their YouTube channel called Tables Have Tabled. But this Dark Souls 2 was my first Dark Souls game. Because when I first bought it, like a few years ago, I also bought Dark Souls 1. I also wanted to do the whole playthrough thing. And it just wouldn't run on my computer. It wasn't remastered yet. It was just an OG version that would not play on my computer. It was like meant for the console.
Yeah.
So I started with Dark Souls 2 Scholar of the First Sin Edition, which is basically all the DLCs with it. And I had like 150 hours on it. And
Holy crap.
that was a few years ago. And then I started again recently, about a week ago. And in 20 to 30 hours of gameplay, I reached the same amount of level that I did that time ago with 150 hours. So clearly I was doing something wrong. And for those of you who don't know, Dark Souls is notorious. It's pretty much a meme. It's like it's its own culture. It's a standard amongst the gaming community as you will die.
Yeah.
All the time. Death actually has meaning. Like each time you die, you lose
Kind of like your own kind of like experience points, basically.
Yeah, your currency. It's you lose progress each time you die, and it's just so frustrating. And the game is so notoriously hard where everything doesn't even have to be a boss. It could be a normal dude that you beat at the beginning of the game, and then you're at the end of the game and you meet that guy again. You forgot he was there, and then you booties you in 2 hits, and then you die, and it's just so tragic. And that's kind of the premise of the Dark Souls franchise, but I had trouble with it. Obviously, I said I had 150 plus hours.
Yeah.
And then recently, Sunny picked up Dark Souls 2 and saw him playing through some of it. And he's progressing pretty damn fast. And I'm like, Sunny, what the fuck are you doing?
I definitely like ignited Ihraz's curiosity to get back into Dark Souls 2.
Yes, again. I only started because Sunny said he wanted to play. He was going to play it again. And I saw his progress. And I'm like, what the heck? And it was very interesting. Seeing him play was a completely different, so I play Skyrim, I play other games you guys may have heard, and it's almost always hit before you get hit, and so you kill the other guy, and that's kind of my experience with games. Not to the extent of like hack and slash, not those, but definitely like Vindictus and stuff where you only have to dodge once in a while.
Oh yeah, so you have to do with like all the invincibility frames and stuff like that.
Yeah, and the invincibility frames are so generous. You know, if you roll or dodge, you're invincible for that time. Dark Souls really fucking destroyed me because I was not ready for the intensity. The sword swipes were realistic enough that even if you dodge through it, the tip still hits you at the end of the... I don't know, it's just really annoying.
I think it's only with Dark Souls 2 because they basically the stat, which is adaptability, that correlates with your invincibility frames.
Yep. Yeah, so I actually Googled it to see how many I would need to make it easier for myself. So what the breakpoints were.
Yeah, because that's what I say, like, if you're definitely getting into the Dark Souls series, I recommend playing through number 3 because you don't have to worry about all that stuff, and the combat's a lot more cleaner in Dark Souls 3. Yeah, it just like... And you don't have to worry about like one stat depends on your invincibility frames or something like that. Dark Souls 3, you just have like a set invincibility frame.
And you work with that.
Yeah.
See, I would actually rather have that because I remember you were talking about Dark Souls 3, and I said, yo, you want to make sure you get your agility to the right point so you can dodge enough. And you're like, nah, it's not like that in Dark Souls 3. I'm like, it's not? Dark Souls 2 is like giving me like PTSD at this point. But it's not as hard as I thought it was at first. It was just because I was so used to a different type of play style and things just falling in line before me and everything dying that the first time a game gave me a challenge, I became one of the haters. I became one of the people who's like, man, screw Dark Souls. It's so hard. Like, everything's just out there to get you. It's just another game with its own set of rules and its own set of stuff.
Yeah.
Like I was saying, Sonny was squaring off with this one normal dude, not even a boss. And I'm like, Sonny, just attack it. And Sonny has a shield up. I'm like, yo, use his shield. By the way, I was all about the two-handing a weapon and being super OP type thing. He dodged, and then he attacked. I'm like, hey, that worked. What the heck?
I mean, like I played your style in Dark Souls 3 because, you know, it was much more generous iframes. But in Dark Souls 2, I read about like the invincibility frames being like stuck between like a stat, stuck in the stat. So I had to pick up like the sword and shield thing because I had to defend myself. And if I roll the wrong way or don't have I roll at the wrong time, I take like a huge amount of damage. So I always had to play safe in Dark Souls 2. And playing through Dark Souls 1, it's kind of like you had those invisibility frames in Dark Souls 3 too. And, you know, switching from like Dark Souls 2 to Dark Souls 1 and Dark Souls 3, it feels weird because every single Dark Souls is kind of like different in play style for me.
And I'm glad to hear that because I would assume it would get boring after a while if it was the same game over and over.
Yeah.
And I am planning on playing Dark Souls 3 right after I'm done with Dark Souls 2.
We gotta play co-op together.
Oh, okay. Yeah, definitely.
So I read up on the Dark Souls 3 co-op feature. And you know how like before you had to put down like the white stone.
And they summon you as a shade, so it's only temporary help.
So in like Dark Souls 3, they made it a lot easier now. So all you have to do is just put in like a password and a friend. It doesn't matter what soul level you are.
Oh,
like in
nice.
Dark Souls 2.
Yes,
so all you have to do is just put it down, put that password, and then all you have to do is let your friends like use that kind of like summon sigil, and then you're able to just join in.
So it's much more of a invite host type relationship rather than the weird thing in Dark Souls 2 where so like I was at this place and someone's like, yo, I can help you. I'm like, I didn't really need it at the point, but I'm like, you know what, let's play together for a bit. We went to the same spot. I put my summon sign down and I couldn't see Sonny, and then we started googling it. I was like, what happened? And it turns out his soul level is just like way higher. And just like I guess it was unfair, but Dark Souls 3 co-op for sure. Let's do it.
So and also I read I watched up and like read up on is that like in Dark Souls 3 the co-op feature, instead of me just going like being like overpowered as shit and come into your like low level place and just wrecking everything for you, they actually match the levels for the enemies.
Oh, so let's say you're higher level than me and I invite you to my world, our enemies will get stronger because you're higher level.
No, it kind of like I guess it'll let me rephrase that, like it kind of matches with the host. So let's say you're like level 50, I'm like 120, like that's the max level for the base game in Dark Souls 3.
Okay.
I would be reduced to that like level.
Oh, so you would be like handicapped much to match. All right, okay, that's actually fair.
So it makes it fair. And it makes it that you don't have to be fucking the same soul level as shit.
Understood. I'm actually kind of glad for that. Speaking of reading up, the only reason I'm actually doing better this time is because I actually decided to follow like a build. Like I googled up what are some builds, and I'm gonna be honest, none of them fit my style because I wanted the biggest sword ever, and all of them were like using quick attacks or something like that. But I found something that kind of fit, and then I switched it up halfway, and I'm actually really happy with it. So I'm doing much better. The attacking style, I actually want to get back to that, is because From Software also released, they also have Bloodborne series, which I've never played. Have you ever played those?
I want to. I don't know why, but I just love kind of like From Software's like hard ass games. It kind of like, I guess it's just the thrill of doing it.
I'm not going to lie. Until recently, like I said, I hated it. I'm actually starting to feel the same way you feel a little bit.
It's like a drug.
Yeah, it's the risk actually and heightens. I don't know. It's like, remember, so we took a game class, Game 101, a long time ago, and we learned about flow, which was like difficulty versus skill. And as long as the difficulty and skill were matched, you would have fun. If it was too hard and you didn't have a skill, it'd just be frustrating. That was me with Dark Souls. If you have too much skill and it's not difficult enough, it's gonna be too easy. You're not gonna have fun. I thought it was frustrating, but now I'm feeling the flow. It's like, it's just enough, like, risk, and also I know how to play it. But they also released another game, which was kind of like a flagship game of its own. It's not even Sekiro. And I know for a fact Sonny played it, and I played it, and Sonny, you beat the game, right?
Yes.
I beat the game minus the last boss. Second to last boss.
He's fighting the demon of hatred.
Yeah, so I'm not going to spoil the fight or anything, but let me just say the reason I haven't beat it is because I'm trying to beat it fair and square. The reason Sonny beat it is because he cheesed it. But whatever. That's...
Let me defend myself.
That's fair. That's fair.
The demon of hatred is an optional boss. You don't have to beat it.
That is true.
So I just cheesed it and I beat him. Quote, beat him. But I beat the final boss fair and square. So
okay, that's
fair. That makes up for it.
It's been a while since I played, and I think I'm gonna start it over because now and it's not because I can't even fight the normal guys.
Well, what?
Like, I'm that bad. So this is where watching Sonny play a little bit made an even larger impact, is because Sekiro, the premise is you're a shinobi, and the fighting style is much less hack and slash and much more skill based, right? There's all sorts of little things parrying. It's much different. You don't roll dodge, but it's such a concise feel to the game. I'm not gonna lie, I love it. It's beautiful. But after a while, what I started doing was I started using the arts and different skills and such just to bash people to death again. I started losing the skill in favor of the damage, which worked for a while until now that I'm nearing the end game, everything hurts. Every enemy's fast. It doesn't work anymore. Like, every fight I'm having to heal right after because I take hits. And I watch Sonny play, and Sonny has, and this is, I guess, part of the whole skill set that comes with playing these types of games. He has a little bit of patience. He can wait 1 or 2 seconds to hit. I have absolutely zero patience. I get so greedy for the hit. I'm like, oh, let me just hit him one more time. And then I get parried, or I lose stamina, or something happens, and then I just get wrecked. So watching him play, there was one boss that Sonny said was the hardest for him, and I said I hated all the bosses, but that one boss was the easiest. And you guys probably saw it in the trailers, or maybe you saw Donkey's video on it. It's the Guardian Ape, and I guess it just fit my style better.
Because it's when you find like all the other bosses, right, in the game, you can parry, you can just be in your defensive stance and stuff. But when you find like the Guardian Ape, it's like a whole different battle where it's like before you're fighting like humanoid.
Yeah, see, that's the thing, is that humanoid, and they have like move sets with attacks with swords or weapons that's similar to your own, so you can fight against it given the skills that you're taught. The Guardian Ape is more like, it's kind of like a Dark Souls fight, more like, where it's just a monster, kind of.
It's a beast. It's basically a wild animal.
Yeah, it's a beast, so you don't have to like be parrying its attacks. It's just run around, hit. And like, I don't know, I kind of like that. Just chip at its health slowly but surely. It's not the most skilled approach, but it is my approach. So I am gonna, if not try again, maybe I will continue my old save file, but I will definitely go back to the training mode, or like, fight some normal guys and practice. Like, actually practice, because Chris isn't here, but Sonny showed him Sekiro just a little bit, just gave him a little taste of it, and he gave the controller to Chris, and Chris started fighting it, and man, this is the basic skills of just attacking, dodging, parrying is so crucial. And also, there's like parkour in the game. Yeah. There's like, you got a rope thingy that you fly around with. It's beautiful. It's like, I also play Assassin's Creed. I may have put that in my Games with Impact episode, but even if I didn't, that parkour aspect adding to the Dark Souls, high risk, very low reward gameplay, it really shimmied my jimmies. I loved it.
And that's what makes Dark Souls really that special. It kind of like punishes you. You know, like the games now, you can just breeze through like all the enemies in the game or something. Or like I guess one example I can bring up is like Dynasty Warriors, where you basically are the OP protagonist, where you just kill mobs and mobs of like grunts. I'm pretty sure like in like one map you can get like 1,000 kills.
Whoa.
I wish Paul was here. He would like help me with this, but he loves the Dynasty Warriors series, and he just you get kind of that feeling where I guess you just mob through enemies and you have fun with that. But for me, it's not always about overpowering your enemies. It's overcoming that hard ass obstacle and getting that rushing feeling like, oh man, I did it.
Yeah, I guess what I'm trying to say with all this is that I actually had to think to win. I actually had to like not just go into my comfort zone. My comfort zone was basically what I was most experienced with, which was simply the beginning of every game is always hard. It starts off hard, right? You have to dodge, you have to play it safe, and then over time, once you start hitting that mid game, you start getting into that groove of just beating everybody. By the late game, you should be walking over everybody. Dark Souls and Sekiro, they challenge that, saying, no, you can always win or you can always lose, depending on how you approach the problem.
Yeah.
Right? So at any given point, I have to be on my toes, but also at any given point, there is a solution, there is a way to get past it. I just have to adapt my way of thinking a little bit, and that's what really got me with Sekiro. Because so basically, after the 150 hours of Dark Souls 2, when I quit, and that was like over a year ago, I very recently played Sekiro. And then now I'm playing Dark Souls 2 again, and I'm doing much better. So I guess now I'm just starting to acclimate myself to the genre. And now I can't wait for Dark Souls 3 because one, I'm gonna be a veteran.
Yeah.
And two,
once you say you beat one Dark Souls game, you're like, yeah, I'm a veteran now. I know how to do this.
Okay, so obviously for all you Dark Souls veterans out there, I probably don't even I can't even relate. But I'm just saying it because I know I don't have to worry about iframes. Invincibility frames or anything like that. I can start building what I want, doing what I want. So I mentioned Bloodborne. What about the Bloodborne series got your interest? Because before we start, all I know about the Bloodborne series is that made by the same people, same kind of concept idea, but instead of the medieval times, it's more
Victorian, I guess.
Victorian, like,
well, maybe not Victorian, but like, I don't know, like more gothic.
Yeah. So are there like guns?
Yeah. There's guns and stuff like that.
But they're like older guns, right? They're not like machine guns.
Yeah, like I forgot to say, like I'm a huge board game guy, and I like to play a lot of games, and I have Bloodborne, the card game, even though I haven't played the actual game. But it's kind of like you go around, you go hunting, and you have guns, and you have like shape-shifting weapons and all that stuff. So it's pretty cool. I feel like the Bloodborne's, from what I've seen of the gameplay, it's more like Sekiro. It's kind of like you instead of like the dodge roll mechanic, you actually get punished if you fail your dodge roll. You take, from what I heard, you take double damage if you fail your dodge roll in that game.
Oh, it's like a backstab.
So it's more like you depend on more of your sidestepping and more of your aggressive playstyle, because in that Bloodborne, if you take damage, you kind of have like this little period of time on your health bar where you can actually, like, if you hit the enemy, you actually get your life back, like, for the damage you've taken. So it awards people for being aggressive in that game.
Interesting. This actually might be more my style then. So I was initially turned off by the idea simply because I'm a huge medieval fan. I'm huge. I love the swords, the shields, the arrows, all that, and the magic too. But the guns, I'm not a big first person shooter guy.
Yeah.
mostly because I suck at it. My aiming is terrible. But now that you mentioned that, I'm actually kind of curious. It seems that they made their own like mini game within a game. It's kind of like for Sekiro, there's posture. For Dark Souls, there's stamina, and for that, there's.
I mean, Bloodborne has stamina.
Well,
too.
of course, but I mean, like the new thing, I guess, would be that kind of health manipulation there. That sounds interesting. Speaking of Bloodborne, the card game that he has, it was actually pretty fun. And I got you to expansion pack, and we started playing that. It's semi co-op, which kind of bothers me because Sunny has a bad habit of killing off me. Just me. Even as other players, it's just me. And then I lose.
But sometimes he wins, but
Yeah, that's fair. Other than Sekiro and the From Software games, what about other Dark Souls like games or other hard games, because this obviously I mentioned Sekiro and Dark Souls, but that's just kind of my first game of each. I know you're a huge fan of these, and
Yeah.
you also mentioned another game, Salt and Sanctuary.
Yeah. It's kind of like it's Souls like. There's Dark Souls has like basically made hard games back into the mainstream of games. So now there's this whole genre on Steam called Soul like. And
Wait, what? Really?
Yeah. So
Dang.
if you go on like Steam, you can just go. There's like a certain tag or category. You just click on it. It just says Souls like, and it just brings you all these like lists of hard ass games where you can play that.
Self harm fetish. Like,
Yeah.
What? Sorry.
Yeah, and there's one game I played and with my little sister. It's a co-op game. It's called Salt and Sanctuary. It's exactly like Dark Souls, but it's like a 2D kind of like platformer. You have level ups, and you have like, instead of like traditional like putting skill points into like stats, it's a skill tree. It's just like there's like a whole like tree where you can expand and choose which path you want to go on, and like
Oh, that's
you can do
nice.
like a certain build.
See, I actually kind of like those, because then you can see what you want and what abilities you want and what it gives you. Whereas skill points is just like numbers, and then you have to Google what it means. The visual always helps, I guess.
Yeah, so it has that interesting aspect to it and it's pretty cheap too. It's only $15.
Yeah, I'm actually gonna pick it up. Chris also said he wants to play it. Rasmael said, "Yo, that looks fun."
Yeah,
I mean,
whenever I have friends over or something, like I kind of want to get them into like this Dark Souls games or something like
trying
that.
to get them into your fetish.
Yeah, I let them play Solid Sanctuary with me, the co-op feature with it.
Yeah, I played. I don't know if it was the first level, but I tried finding our first boss, and I was a hindrance to Sunny. Every time we fought the boss, I would just die, and it would just. I wasn't very helpful, is what I'm trying to say.
I mean, it's fine. Like, when you're playing that game, it's co-op. So, if one person fucks up, then, the other person can kind of carry.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and I played through it with Razme, last week, I think, or this week. And we kind of, so one of us died to the boss or something like that. And, other one could, piggyback and just kind of complete it for themselves. And if things do go wrong, you can help each other.
Yeah, I mean that's kind of the spirit of co-op right there. I guess what I was trying to say was I wasn't ready for the. So if I remember correctly, it was 2D, right? 2D scroller type thing, like platformer. So when I saw that, I'm like, yo, it's like Mario. I can do this. This I can do. Nah, it was just as hard.
Yeah, I don't know. It's kind of like. I just don't know. I just know how to put it into words, like how I feel about playing these games and then playing them with friends and stuff like that.
I mean, if we put
Definitely, it's a different experience.
If we put it back in terms of flow, maybe you're just higher skill in certain aspects of gaming, make these more enjoyable to you because of the demand it gives you. It fits your it fits the buttons that press you.
Yeah.
So it's like, all right, so I'm good at dodging or maybe this or that, and these specific games cater to that.
Yeah.
I can't say that it's the same for me, but I am learning. It's growing on me. I'll say that it's growing on me. So I am willing to explore these a little more. Are there any other Souls-like games maybe that you've ventured into, or?
I guess I could say another hard game that I can easily recommend other people to play is Hollow Knight.
Oh my god, you guys have been telling me about this it's on my wish list. I'm just waiting for it to go on sale.
So it's not I wouldn't really consider it too much like a Soul-like game, but it has that Soul-like difficulty to it. Instead of putting points into it or leveling up your certain stats or something like that, like in Salt and Sanctuary or Souls or Dark Souls, it's what they call a Metrovania game where you have. Metrovania is basically Metro. Metroid, right? With Samus and stuff like that, and Castlevania.
Yeah, I only know Metroid from Smash, but yeah.
So in the Metroid series, it's a huge giant map where you basically explore every single part of the map, and you get upgrades that help you increase your stats and stuff like that. It's same thing with Hollow Knight. Okay. So you basically explore the place. And you find different upgrades to your health and your magic or something like that. So it's very different, but it has that hardness to it where you just oh man, I can do this. it has like I can do this, I can beat this, and you overcome like hard bosses. Same thing as in like Dark Souls.
Okay. Because I know not only you, but I believe Chris also said he was a good game.
Yeah.
And it's on my wish list, so I'm just waiting for that to go on sale. Or maybe when I get lazy enough, I'll just buy it. Or after the Dark Souls 2 and Dark Souls 3, because that is something that both has good reviews, and my friends and you have said it was good. Have you heard of Ori and the Blind Forest?
Oh yeah. It's like a platformer.
Yeah, it's like a platformer. The only reason I'm bringing this up is it's not Souls-like at all. You don't lose anything upon dying or anything. But it's just the art style of the splash art of Hollow Knight and Ori and the Blind Forest look similar. So I remember I put them both on my wish list, and then one went on sale. I'm like, yo, this is the game they're talking about. So I got Ori and the Blind Forest, and it turns out it wasn't Hollow Knight. But still, Ori and the Blind Forest was still a really fun game. But back to Hollow Knight. You said, wait, did you say it was a 2D platformer like Ori, or was it like something else?
So it is kind of like it. It has like platform in it, and when you progress through the game, you have special abilities that help you like easily maneuver through the map much faster. So like, of course, it has like fast traveling, so you don't have to explore the whole fucking map and stuff like that. So you have like different points like that. But you also have like this one. You can have like a dash. You have like a wall cling.
Okay.
And you have like wall hops and stuff like that. So
Nice.
It's definitely different from like traditional like hard games, but that's like its own category, like Metrovania kind of games.
Okay, that's the first time I heard of that genre, but that was a pretty good explanation. Speaking of like wall hopping and just jumping and climbing and exploration and fast travel, I finally got the Switch, started playing Breath of the Wild. It literally took over my life for about a good, I want to say 12 days before I had to like step back and breathe and look outside the window and like real life. But how do you feel about exploration type games? Because clearly based on your fast travel, and then you said you don't have to explore a fucking map, I think you like not having to explore everything.
Yeah. So when it comes to like exploration games, I'm not a huge fan. I guess people just like their like expansive worlds and find little secrets and stuff in them. For me, I kind of like the linear kind of game. I kind of like going through a story and just tell me what to do.
Okay, so
instead of just going around like. So you give me too much options. I don't know what to do with those options.
Okay, yes. Well, I have like two things to say about that. Options, Final Fantasy, my first playthrough, I messed up really bad because, I mean, I didn't mess up at all. It's just I didn't put any points in anything at all. And I remember Razvan was getting mad at me. He's like, "What is wrong with you? Just put points in." He's like, "See, I don't know what I want to put in yet." And it turns out it's an absolute must to put in points and level up. But back to exploration. I guess people want experiences differently. Like for me, part of the experience is not the storyline, it's the exploration in and of itself. Whereas I'm assuming for you, it's the challenge is an experience, the fight is an experience, the story is an experience. The wait time is not. As in, I have to travel from this camp all the way to that side of the map, and it's just a waste of time for you. Okay, that's fair. That's fair. I'm a little different. I'm actually kind of scared sometimes of progressing the story because I'm always afraid of missing something. I'm always afraid of, like, in Skyrim there's books that have absolutely, some of them have purpose, but most of them have no purpose in the game. And I just read them all just for that extra story.
Oh, wow, you do?
Yeah, whenever I see a book, I just read it. Like, I like the backstory. It has absolutely nothing to do with anything. I could have lived without it, but I wanted to know. It's like, the ancient race that has no impact on this game at all anymore, but I want to read about it. Just things like that. I actually love that exploration side. I guess this is why you like the whole Dark Souls thing.
Yeah, because I like building my own story, I always that's why I know it's like stupid and stuff like that, and guys can laugh at me, but I always like putting my own name into like any kind of like character creator, like Sunny.
To be absolutely fair, no one else laughs at it. It's just us. We just kind of rag on Sunny a little bit because he role plays pretty well, and it's like his character's name is usually Sunny, and it's not Sunny playing a game. It's what would Sunny do if he was in a situation. It's pretty funny. It kind of reminds me of your Dark Souls playthrough with Razmei. Your guys' character name is Sunmei.
Yeah.
Which is the two of you.
Yeah, it's a combination of our names.
Which I thought that was hilarious. But this also reminds me of your Visage gameplay, or our Visage gameplay actually. It's where we're all freaked the fuck out because it's a scary game. But you're like, all right, well, I mean, clearly to progress the story, I now have to do this, that, or the other. Whereas the rest of us are trying to make decisions based on our emotional state, which is terror and fear. But you're like, I mean, obviously you probably got scared at some points too, but you knew, like, okay, yeah, I get it, but technically, if we want to continue, I have to go this way. So I like that. I like that. It helps drive the story forward. Otherwise, we would be stuck all night doing nothing.
Well, what's your thoughts on easy games, and you play Dark Souls and how hard they are, and can you go back to those easy kiddie game or quote casual games?
Yes, I can, and it's because of my comfort zone. So I'm still accustoming myself to the whole Dark Souls thing and getting better with it, and trying not to cheat. And by not to cheat, I mean trying not to look at guides on how to beat the boss. I want to fight him a few times first, learn the moveset, feel really good after I beat him. And then if it's way too hard, then I'll Google, all right, where do I dodge, or what's his moveset? So I do like all that, but I have no trouble going back to the casual games. Perfect example is Cat Quest. I recently got a game in a bundle called Cat Quest. And I don't know if y'all know this about me, but I got 2 cats and I love them, and I love cats in general. And so, I mean, it was cute, it was funny, it was quirky, I loved all that. But the game itself was actually kind of fun. It was super easy. There's literally no mechanics. Even if you're super underleveled and everything's higher level than you, I can go to the last boss and beat it if I want to. It'll just take maybe an hour because I have no damage. So literally the game is just about numbers. It's not about actual. I mean, there's skill involved, but I was okay with it. I loved it. I still liked the experience. It was, to me, not a downgrade from the Dark Souls. It was more of a refresher, a reliever. It's I can put some time into this, and the reward is not as high. That feeling, a good feeling when you destroy something. Like every boss I felt just felt like another enemy. It wasn't as great. I recognize that. So maybe Dark Souls did do that for me. Will give me a higher sense of risk. I'm sorry, reward. But also there's no risk. I don't feel stressed while playing. So there's that. Casual's a perfect word because I feel relaxed. I still play League. And of course there are stressful situations in that because it's an online game. But sometimes we just play the more fun rotating modes, or just for fun. With our friends. The win isn't really the objective anymore, even though we do try to win. It's more just fucking around, dicking around, making dumb jokes, dancing on enemies' bodies, stuff like that. So, and I still have fun with that, even if it isn't as high risk or high reward. And I'm okay with a lower reward because I guess for some people it's like napping or eating a snack. It's just as a gamer, it's something I do. I'll play. So no, Dark Souls has not ruined anything for me.
That's good. So,
what about you? How do you feel about casual games now? Because I know you're a little more into it. Does it feel unsatisfying?
Yeah, sometimes. I don't know. I feel like I'm really addicted to those hard ass games now since I played the Dark Souls game. But I'm always down for casual games. I'm always, I played League of Legends with you guys.
Yep.
But I guess right now I haven't really found any casual games I want to play at the moment. One time I played your Switch and I was playing Breath of the Wild. I feel like that kind of game I can get into because that was actually the first time in a while where I actually had fun exploring around the world, and how I would see the smoke in the distance and I want to check that out or something.
So Breath of the Wild, it's in a category of its own where it has the hard elements if you want it to be. I remember right at the beginning, Sunny started, and one of the first things you gotta do is just go up a certain path. It's kind of the tutorial. You just go up a certain path, meet this dude, and get something done. And there's some very basic beginner enemies along the way. And Sunny, he's walking, he sees a rock on the floor. He picks it up and says, "This is my rock. We're going to get married." And he runs to where he needs to go. And when he sees enemies, he's like, "Nope, not going to fight you. I'm playing the pacifist route." And he just walks, runs around them and goes. And I'm like, what the heck? So, I can see why you would enjoy that exploration, because that's because even now I'm playing Breath of the Wild. I'm not completely done. I fast I fast travel around to get where I need to, which is super easy, super fast, super quick. But sometimes I won't fast travel just so I can run around. Because from point A to point B, even though I've been to both places extensively, I will always have missed something between in that route. Like I'll just walk, I'll just climb the mountain, I'll just do something, and then there'll be something new. So it's not a forced exploration game, is what I'm saying, which is probably why you enjoyed it. If it was a game where you had to explore to get everything done, it might not be your style.
Yeah. So I have another question for you, Raz. So
Okay.
I got so I've been hearing on news before when the early stages of Sekiro, people were saying it's way too fucking hard. They should have From Software should implement
Like an easy mode.
Yeah, difficulty option. What are your feelings about that?
Okay.
So will it take away from the experience of playing these hard games and some of that?
I actually do have some opinions on that, actually, because I did hear about that. And I'm going to bring it back to Dark Souls as well. I'm going to bring it back to all the games. If Dark Souls had a difficulty option... Okay, and this is not answering a Sekiro question, I understand, but I'm going to answer in the From Software in general.
It's basically in general,
Yeah. To Dark Souls, if there was a difficulty option, there'd be no point in playing the game. Right? There'd be no point in playing the game if there was an easier option, because part of that game is the challenge, the wall, the difficulty. Now, if you want to make it harder... go for it, and they already have that option. There's a champions or victor, I forgot what it's called, but basically it's everything gets harder. It's
the new game plus. That's where
true, yeah. And then once you're done, you can start over, and then it changes stuff up. There's NG plus, NG plus. That just means every time you finish, you can play it again, and things will change. I don't know about the replayability value of it because I haven't gone that far. So, but that's if you want to get harder. If you want it to get easier for Dark Souls, it would be pointless, not because it's not hard. It is hard. And I understand the drive for people to make it more accessible to the masses. But I would say don't do that, because the game is what it is because of its difficulty. Now, bring it to Sekiro, my feelings change a little bit, actually.
Oh, wow, really?
The end result's the same. I still believe there should not be an easier mode. But my reasoning is different. This game was meant to be more accessible to everybody.
Yeah.
And in my opinion, my humble opinion, I believe it did a great job of that. Where struggling in the Dark Souls franchise, excelled at this game. Maybe not as well as I wished I did, but I found my style, and I see you play, and I see you find yourself. It's so nice. The reason I don't want it to be easier is not because, this is accessible to everyone, so it should be easier. No, I'm saying it should not be easier because it already is easy. At any given point, at any given fight, even when I struggled to fight this one guy who was right beside a spawn point, like a shrine, right beside one. So it was I think I've counted as a 12-second time for me to get from, if I died, to get back to the boss to fight him again. I still died 40, 50 times. It was ridiculous. And I just kept going again and again until I beat him. There are times when I messed up. I still don't think it should be done, because at any given point, there's always a way to beat it. You just have to figure it out, or you kind of just naturally feel it, or try stuff out. Try dodging instead of parrying, try parrying instead of dodging, try different things. Learn the move set, because what I would do, there's no stamina in Sekiro. There's no stamina limit. You can jump around and run as much as you want. I would always jump attack and jump out, jump attack and jump out. And a huge sword would come out and just slam me out of the sky and into the ground. And I'm like, dang it, how'd he get me? And I just had to learn different movesets. I had to stop being so stuck in my own ways. So for Sekiro, my feeling is still that no, we should not have an easier mode, and it's not because of the accessibility or anything like that. It already is accessible. If they made an easier version of it,
I don't even know how they would make it an easier version of it.
The only way you can make it easier, because the difficulty isn't in the damage. I'm sorry, it's not in the dodge roll, the iframes, the move sets of any enemies. That's none of the difficulty. That's just, you can't take that away, otherwise there is no game.
Yeah.
The only thing they could tweak is numbers, which is how much damage the enemy does to you, how much damage you do to the enemies, how long you stay down after you hit. And so here's the cool thing. I know people try putting game elements and story elements together. Sekiro does it really well. Your attacks, you're shinobi. You fight like a shinobi. When you're down, you roll. It's all so finely woven in. I would feel the game would be ruined if you try to make it easier. That game also has NG plus, but also I've never gone that far in NG plus, so I don't know the difficulty of that. But I will say there is no need for it, and this is coming from a generally casual gamer like myself. I can't. I'm not a crazy min maxer. I have no patience. I always jump in and attack. So my aggressive style, I saw Sunny's more like patient, kind of learning and then fighting style. I believe that this game doesn't need an easier mode.
Yeah.
Now, in the event that they do make an easier mode for, let's say,
not.
Yeah, I hope not, because, and it's not to deter people from playing. I swear, it's not that I don't want you to play. It's that I want you to play the game for what it's worth. And for all you listeners and viewers, like, I want you guys to play the game for what it's worth. For Dark Souls, maybe I understand the deterrence, and I understand that if you might not want to play, it is. As big as a game it is, in my head, I believe it's still a niche. It's still a niche type of... It's a style. As Sunny was saying, or as I was saying, actually. It's more a fetish for people who, like, love that frustration. Sekiro's not like that, though. Sekiro has its hard elements, but you could definitely work through it. It comes down to... I mean, yeah, you do need hand-eye coordination. You do need, some good reflexes. But even without that, because mine is pretty bad, you can learn. You can learn to play. Chris, when he played just for a few minutes, or it was actually like half an hour, on your computer, Sonny, and he made a new file just to try it around, he went to training mode, and I truly believe he got better than me in 20 minutes when I played for like 6 to 10 hours. And that's only because he decided to actually spend a few minutes to train.
Yeah.
Where I just started running around and trying to fight everything, and then just got destroyed. So that was kind of a long tangent, but and a long-winded answer, but appreciate the game for its worth, not because I'm a From fan, not because I'm a Dark Souls fan, but because I did truly try this game as a new thing, and as easy or hard as it is, you'll enjoy it.
Yeah,
you'll enjoy it. Dark Souls, I understand, is a little more niche. that might not be everybody's cup of tea or burning hot liquid.
Yeah.
God damn that shit, dude. Okay, so just yesterday, I was human in Dark Souls 2. And I fell down on the way to a boss, and I felt so bad because dying is already bad enough, but when you're human, when you finally hit that, like I was in a pristine condition, and when you die, you deteriorate. Man, I felt bad because I didn't die to a monster, I didn't die to an enemy. I died because I mispathed and I fell down a hole that I saw before, but it was dumb. So don't worry, I have my fair share of frustrations and troubles and shit with this. But now, enough about me. What about you and Sekiro? Would you want it to be easier or no?
See, I kind of share the same kind of opinion with you. I kind of feel like it would take away from the whole experience of this Dark Souls and hard games in general. They're meant to be hard, and if you take that away, or just make it like the guys do like less damage or something like that, it's no fun. There's no challenge in it. Those games are just meant to be challenging, and basically they're trying to get you into that kind of mood where you kind of get over that obstacle, like I said before. That kind of like that adrenaline of like you're on your like last healing item or something like that. Oh my god,
I know the feel.
And you finally like inch out a win. It's like
it's the best feeling.
Yeah, and I feel like that's kind of like the idea of the game, and even kind of the lore kind of goes into that, where you're basically like the chosen undead or something like that.
It's not even that you're chosen for a good destiny. You're chosen. You're cursed.
Yeah,
it's like fuck you, and you're fighting against all odds. To like no, don't fuck me. I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna win.
Yeah, and basically in the lore, like, though you're basically like are like this undead thing where you keep dying over and over and over again until one point you go insane.
Yeah, so it's not just you, but it's like everybody. Like everybody who has this curse of undead who was once human, but they die, they lose their humanity, they slowly turn more and more hollow until they just become like kind of like a zombie, pretty much. And you're trying to save yourself from that because you're losing your soul by getting more souls.
Yeah.
And so it's a very downward spiral type thing where there can only be one winner, really.
Yeah.
It's like, if I need a soul and you need a soul and both of us are like, okay, well, one of us got to die for the other one to benefit. It's a dark atmosphere, and I love it because it fits in well with the whole high risk, high reward thing.
Yeah.
And if I killed a boss and I didn't die a couple times before, I would not feel any good about it. It would just be another big enemy.
Yeah.
sometimes a normal enemy who's just like a bigger stature, like a big guardian guy. And the first time I saw one, I thought it was a boss because he was standing in a kind of arena-like area, but it was just a normal monster. I found out, but when I beat him, I felt really good.
Yeah,
because I died to him first, like a good 2 times until I learned his moveset and I killed him, and then I realized he was a normal guy. But still, that high risk generates higher reward. On the flip side, even though both of us have said we don't want easier versions of the games or easier difficulty levels because it would ruin the game. To be fair, From Software actually did give you an easier version.
Yeah,
They actually did give because there wasn't enough drive. There were enough people who said these games are too hard, but we recognize the amount of fun or amount of like utility we can get out of it. Can you make an easier game or an easier thing? That's what Sekiro is for. Sekiro is for everybody. And even if Dark Souls doesn't float your boat, you can totally take this one out for a ride. Sekiro.
Yeah.
So I don't think it needs to be any easier. I think that is how low it can go. That sounded bad. Not low, but like it's a great game. I don't want to say low, but I meant in terms of difficulty.
Yeah.
Well, it's good that we're on the same page about that. But for anyone who's not, please tell us, because again, these are just 2 opinions here. We're not here to hate on you guys.
We're missing a third, but
yeah, we're missing Chris. Chris is if there's a spectrum, I feel like it's Chris then me then you, Sonny. So I was with Chris before. It's hard games are a bitch, and now I'm starting to like it a little bit. I still think they're a bitch. You're definitely into it, and Chris is starting to get into it too.
Yeah. He's playing Song Sanctuary. He's playing by himself.
He's playing by himself, but you can co-op up to how many? 2 people, right?
Yeah, just 2 people.
2 people? I might just play with him.
Yeah.
Yeah, we might actually record some of that gameplay and maybe put on our YouTube for all we know.
Yeah,
that's future ideas, future goals. But for now, that's kind of our take on hard games, specifically the Dark Souls-like games, and why we like them / don't like them. Because I know I'm saying all the good stuff, but a part of me still hates it.
Yeah. It's definitely... I kind of want to say that I feel like Dark Souls should be for everyone, but I feel like they shouldn't just dumb it down for everyone.
Yeah, I guess that's a line that, as much as we argue about it, that's for them to decide. Really, it's do we want to lose quality of the game so we can hit more people, or do we want to just make it more niche but then make it a really hard really cater to these people? And so I think it's a good thing that they made a separate game, Sekiro, separate game for more accessibility, instead of just changing their base games or other games. I mean, and I still haven't played Dark Souls 3, which I heard is even more freaking Dark Souls 2. So I will totally look into that.
Yeah.
But I've yet to finish Dark Souls 2. I thought I was getting near the end game, but I guess I was wrong. I don't know.
You're almost there.
Really?
Yeah, you're almost done.
Okay, cool. Because I met the lady that says go meet Vendrick, the dude, and I'm like, oh, that's kind of like what the lore was talking about. This is it. I'm about to do it.
You're almost there.
Yeah, I opened a fog wall saying, all right, this is it, the final battle, just another normal boss.
Yeah.
I'm like, dang it, I'm not there yet. So I guess there's still some more to go. But alas, that will be it from us, the Double Trouble. Yeah, so Chris wasn't here, but we might have more of these, because there are some games that are only common between Sonny and Chris, or between me and Chris, or maybe a guest. So that'll be interesting to hear it more interview style, kind of.
Yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this, and
much more conversational.
And give us your thoughts and opinions about this topic, and
yeah, because I know me and Sonny definitely had some very opinionated opinions, if that makes any sense. So tell us how you feel about Dark Souls or hard games in general, or any of the other games that we mentioned, and if an easier version would be a better idea, because in our opinion it's not. All right, but for now, peace out. See you next time on the Sick Podcast, guys.
double trouble.
We out here.